Hey, what's going on? BG here. How you doing? How are you, friend? How are you? It's not about me. It's about you. If you can comment below, if you want to let us know how you feel, let us know how you feeling. Maybe there's something that we could talk about. Maybe there's a possible option we can do. Maybe we can have a little episode about what's going on, how you guys are making it through the past 2 years, how you guys have made it through the past 2 weeks of new information, and just the change that's going on around the nation. I think it would be really cool to get some feedback. So feel free, comment below. This is not just to watch, it's also to interact with. So let's have fun with that. It's my drum that's shiny. Oh, okay, cool. That's strange. So we're doing good, and I'm gonna get into part three. But before we get into part three of Billy Carson's series of evidence of the Anunnaki on Earth, part three, I want to give some data, just to kind of, let's just a quick word from BG, But seriously, I think it's something I probably should have addressed before, but I didn't. Sorry about that. So I wanted to do a series that was just unlike everything else on the news. I was like, well, what could I do? And I was like, well, what is currently in the news? So I had to watch the news for about a week or so. At the end of the year, right around New Year's. So I'm watching the news. COVID numbers are up. All this data about whether all these things. There were a lot of things that were being said, and I'm not gonna get this video pulled for that. What I'm gonna do is I knew it. I was like, if I'm gonna make a video, I'm gonna do something you can't pull me for. And the truth made sense. I was like, well, we could do the truth. We can just, hey, what's truth? I don't know. Just talk about truth. No, that didn't make sense to me. So I was like, well, let me do something that no one else is getting pulled for. Religion sounds fun. Let's go. So politics aside, all the craziness around the world with a virus or whatever, I'm not going to address that. I'm not doing that here. I'm not going to do that on this podcast. I don't plan to debate anything about that right now. I don't think it's my place. I honestly don't think I'm an expert at all that would have any data to support anything that I would say. So I'm not going to do that. And when I went into the whole evidence of Anunnaki on Earth, when I did part 1 and 2, I didn't really give my side. I didn't say anything at all. I actually just said, hey, here it is. Billy Carson, here you go. Boom. And I just let Billy kind of take it off. And it was good. Part one was great because it's more like, oh, okay, biblical to this other story. Okay, kind of easy to follow. Part 2 was more visual. He had a lot of visuals in his podcast, and I did not play them. It was an audio podcast only. So for the people, and I think for just to take in this data better, I think having the visual helps. And I wanted to really allow Billy Carson, who's been on many very legit places. He's not just on Ancient Aliens on History Channel. He has his own broadcast company. He's working with Dame Dash on Fox on a whole new Fox network. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I'm not kidding. Fox Soul. So Fox Network has given Dame Dash his own network, and he's exclusively going to Billy Carson, the brother you're about to hear today, and the person you've heard for the past two videos, or I'm sorry, past two podcasts. When you hear from him, I'm trying to tell you, he's legit. Like, he talks to the real people. He goes on location. When I was able to, because I had followed Art Bell for years. AM radio was a thing in my house for sure growing up. But when I would listen to Art Bell late at night or whatever, it was always like, whoa, man, this is either make believe or this is the most intense story no one's ever talked about. And he was probably the first person I ever heard speak of Eric von Däniken or the writings of Zechariah Sitchin. No one had talked about that before. When he had Billy on, I was like, whoa, okay, it got real. And because it was not just a person that looks like me, but as someone who is as inquisitive as I am, who asked the questions I did. I've been following Billy Carson for at least a good 9 years, and it's something I didn't speak about. From a church standpoint, I was still working with Baptist churches. I was still getting paper checks, you know what I'm saying? And, once 2012, 2014, I really wanted nothing to do with the grouping of religion. This thing where you go to a building and, oh, we're First Presbyterian Baptist, we're first Baptist of Catholicism. Like, I mean, I was getting paid from a non-denominational church, lived the life that followed Hillsong from Australia, but played American songs that were apparently written or produced by Justin Bieber. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the music came from. I just played this shit. But I mean, eventually you got to start asking questions. You got to start looking around like, what the fuck is going on? Why is the story not driving? And I have friends of other faiths and whatnot, and met a great friend of mine who married, and I'm not going to throw names out. I'm not going to do all that. It's rude. But yeah, for someone to bring in the Jewish denomination to me was pretty cool. And I was able to have a good sit down with someone who went to shul, for real, like someone who knows, hey, racism is real and it goes for Jews too. And I mean, we had great talks. It was amazing, very insightful. And with that being said, I wanted to again just do what I've done in regular life when I'm having these conversations with people who may believe something different. It's amazing how much our stories jive but don't. You see what I'm saying? At one point there was a Indian gentleman I worked with, Mahindra, a long time ago. I was over at a large Marriott location. Cool guy. He was one of my bosses, and he had made a comment, something to the liking of like, yes, we know this is a hard job, but Vishnu will see us through it. And we all had to kind of like look around like, well, we don't do Vishnu down here, homie. Jesus will see us through. Like we had to like kind of tweak it in our minds to make it work. But he had a very good conversation about that. He's like, no, the way you guys look at Jesus is the same way we look at Vishnu or Buddha. Buddha being someone not from here who brought these teachings and other iterations of what faith can be, what the mind can do, what the body can do, what people can do together. You can do a lot together if you're on the same wavelength, the same thought path, the same pattern. Like just there's just a lot of simplicity, and he made the analogy. There's beautiful simplicity in how ants work. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So I mean, again, I'm hearing all this at work, like, whatever, let's get the job done. But no, he made a good point. He's like, these ants, they're we can do whatever we want to for these ants. They spent millions of dollars to make this building, to make everything all perfect and pristine. We still fight ants. That's powerful. But ants are only powerful if they work together. We can get this done, but we have to start to, if you want to use your mind this way, you begin to think like a group of ants. It's the easiest way to get a large job done with a small amount of people. Because again, if you're delegating options, delegating roles, you do kind of want an ant colony. You don't want independent thinkers. You don't want this one guy, oh, I'm rolling tables. Well, why are we putting out tables? Why don't we just put out chairs? No. Don't think on your own. Like these are moments where you don't think on your own. No, I mean, dude, we were working for a large company doing huge events for thousands of people, weddings. I mean, we even did a full Hindi wedding, and we had the elephant there and everything. It was just like the whole entire joke, if you will, Apu's wedding in The Simpsons. It's not a joke. It's shit's real as fuck. Yes, they do have elephants at the wedding. 100%. It is 100% true. They did it for one day only. I do believe we rented that elephant from the zoo. Wow, it's crazy stuff. But again, this is a religion, this is what they believe. They believe, the delivering of the dowry, aka the wife, to the husband is done in a certain ceremonial fashion. Same thing for Jewish weddings as well. There's a certain fashion, certain ceremonies that they'll do. Catholic weddings are completely different. Working for an event company, you learn all religions pretty quickly because you better be able to accommodate. So it was something to where, okay, cool, there is not just one book. I now know that from business, but I also know now from having dealt with those people, they don't necessarily hate each other, dude. Like, really, religions weren't made to fight. They were made to coexist. But what's happening is, when you have that little coexistence sticker on your car, you have to stop screaming at the other person that doesn't believe in what you believe in. Okay, Karen? But also at the same time, for all the cows out there, you got to stop being a dick about it, man. I mean, yeah, you know, certain faiths are very strict, but it's kind of hard to be a strict Muslim and not also realize a huge section of why this exists is because of the white man. And on top of that, just a quick little fun fact. Unlike the Bible, which was canonized by a large group of people who all agreed the same thing, the Muslim faith was kind of like literally constructed, pieced up, kind of. Takes a lot from the Nag Hammadi scripture, but it's really the book of Enoch and the book of John. They put that together and they made this weird amalgamation. It was led by a white man. That white man went to these countries, produced this work, if you will, in the late 1800s, I believe, and that's what was used with the clerics, and that's what took them out of servitude. So says the book of Islam. So let's stop playing with it. Obviously, a lot of these books are not jiving, but when they do coincide, it's like, okay, hold on, why? What do you mean there's always a flood? What? And then the other one was, hold on. So each one of these groups always has some story of from heaven to earth, or from the skies to the earth, or always a delivery. It's always a delivery, always something like, oh, we don't know where it was from, but it came from somewhere and it came here. I don't know. These stories over time will become religion. But why do they all exist? And why does every religion have it? And then when you go further back, of course, outside of the Bible, you get into the Torah. Outside of the Torah, we're talking about, I don't want to go directly to Sumerian from Torah, but I want to say from the Torah, from Hebrew, follow language. From Hebrew, we're going into Arabic. From Arabic, you go even deeper into now Sumerian. Now we can say ancient, lost, dead languages. And when we get into even further dead languages of the Mesozoic era, I do believe it was Mesozoic era. It's the first recording of people. But with that being said, I don't know if they're still there anymore. I think we bombed everything in Turkey, but there were caves and caverns and paintings and writings all throughout the whole area, what we now would call Middle East, which we've kind of been bombing the hell out of lately. And when it comes to Turkey, a lot of that information was not kept, or those groups were not the same groups there. They were traveling nomadic groups. Not only is the language lost, but the data and the information inside of the papers were lost for many, many years. So when he brings up a lot of the translations, when Billy Carson says, yes, these were translated before, hey, we got those translations. Hey, I got those too. I did my own translations. We have to start to sit back and say, hey, look, You've done more with more books than most pastors will do with the Bible by itself. I challenge any pastor though on some real shit. Like, yo, any real, religious guru who, takes from their own supply, please watch Billy Carson. And I'm not forcing you, the watcher, to challenge your religious person. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is have your own mind. Get your own books. Read. If there's anything I could say today, read. Better yet, don't even believe what Billy Carson is saying to you. You go read the books yourself, because he'll tell you exactly where he got them from. So we're going to get into part 3. I don't plan for this to be a debate. I don't assume there's anything to disagree on. If anything, this is all documented data that is just not part of a certain scripture that you were told to read. Before I get into Billy Carson, I want to say one little analogy that I brought up. I kind of made it up on my own, but I think it holds weight here. To believe in the Bible is to also believe in Harry Potter. That's kind of how deranged that one book is. Now, with that one book being so pieced up and vague, it's just as well to say, yes, I believe everything in Prisoner Azkaban, Harry Potter. It's just real. Okay, if that's real, how? There's just so many questions, so many, like, well, hold on, I mean, and if you don't take all the other books into account, then it's like, well, what do you do on Malfoy? Well, no, he's not in this book. Like, we can't be selective in that way. We have to cut that out. It's 2022. I think it's time we can all, as adults, have that Santa Claus moment, and we can start to realize, yeah, the stories that we were told probably were not true, or were not told in the sequence they should have been. Only after putting together so much data could you now find out, oh, well, hey, turns out Jesus probably never died, and there is a lineage of his name. They were children. Brothers, sisters, cousins. That isn't in one of them books they give you, but it's only in the books that you give yourself. So we're gonna go ahead and pass it over to our brother here, Billy Carson. He's gonna give us that ring on the brain, make us half insane, make you do that thing. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, and I will put myself right meow over here. Hello. All right, so let's go ahead and get it in and take it away.
Oh, what's up? Billy here. Forbidden Knowledge, the famous 4. What's happening? Thank you, everyone, for joining me live tonight for my live podcast. This is actually part 3 of a series I've been doing talking about the evidence of the Anunnaki on Earth. And so if you missed part 1 and part 2, you can find them on forbiddenknowledge.tv. Just go to 4bk.tv and you can watch them over there. Okay. Each one is about an hour and a half long. And for the first 2 episodes, I was really talking about, I'm trying to build circumstantial evidence for the, for the case that the Anunnaki not only were here, but that they were on Earth engaging mankind. And so, like I said before, in a court of law, we have our system set up over here, our institution set up, basically. If you have enough circumstantial evidence in a case, you can win the case, right? You can win the argument. And so what I've been doing is pulling together circumstantial evidence from various different sources from all around the world, evidence in ancient texts, tablets, scripture, cylinder scrolls, papyruses, from actual historians, linguists, translators, authors, and of course, ancient sites, and putting it all together and saying, hey, we have a very strong case that the Anunnaki not only were real, but that they also engaged mankind on this planet, the planet Earth, right? And so that's what we're doing. I see everybody here in the chat. Hello, everyone. I see all the great messages and all the hellos. I got the Batman shirt on today, okay? Because that's my superpower. Every day I'm Batman. I got to go with the knowledge. That's the only thing Batman has is the way he thinks, right? He exercises and he thinks. That's all. Yeah, that's all he has, and he's got to make that work, you know. So every day I'm Batman. Every day I'm Batman. I got the Batman watch on today. All right. So I'm going to go in today. It's going to be episode 3, basically evidence of the Anunnaki, and I'm going to start off on the PowerPoint where I left off from last week. I was getting ready to go into the solar system. The first couple of episodes were about the ancient war in the Pleiadian star system. People then, because planets were getting destroyed, fleeing from those planets and that region of that sector of the galaxy, and moving on to other areas, other star systems, because of the damage and the debris that was causing havoc in their sector. And so they had to create breakaway civilizations. They became space refugees, literally. We talked about some of them ending up in Orion, Aldebaran, Zeta Reticulus, and Sirius, A, B, and C, and various, and the Dog Star and everything, various different star systems. And then we also talked about the fact that some even crash landed on a planet that orbited a brown dwarf star, which gravitationally was captured by our solar system here. And that is, we know in the Enuma Elish calls it the planet Nibiru. Nibiru orbits a brown dwarf star. And now modern astronomers have found that star. They have found that solar system, that mini solar system within our Oort cloud, our inner Oort cloud area. And it's now called the inner Oort cloud. And there are 2 solar systems, ours and a secondary one that does exist. And so, and they orbit each other. So we're going to go into that today a little bit. All right. So I appreciate that. Let me make sure this mic is properly attuned here. 1 second. Let me just check the mic check just to make sure. Yes, I am on the LCS. Okay, we're good there. All right. Excellent. All right, guys, please hit the like button no matter where you are. I'm on a lot of platforms today at once. If you can hit the like button wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever you see me right now, please hit the like button. I would really, really appreciate that. Okay, it helps the engagement and it helps to get more people to watch the video. And also, if you can, please share the video. That will help as well if you can share the video, okay? We're going to go in here and do a little share screen. And let me go to share my screen here. Share my screen. Okay. Next window. And I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint presentation. And let's see here. Here we go. Boom. Share. Okay. Now that we have the share screen up, I'm going to pull up this video at the same time on another platform so I can make sure that what I'm showing is always accurate before I get started, because I want to make sure everything is functioning and running properly. We don't want to waste any energy. Okay. All right. Looks good. Now, what you see on the screen here is the Hubble Skybook. Right here, I'm going to go back one. This is the Hubble Skybook. Where I left off last week was the fact that we took the Hubble telescope and we looked at a tiny little dot in the sky, right? Straight out there, just a tiny little area. And what we saw was 2 trillion galaxies in that little pinprick of light. Once we zoomed in with that incredible technology, we were able to distinguish over 2 trillion galaxies, not planets, not suns, galaxies, each holding billions of stars. So we know that the universe is amazingly huge. It may potentially be infinite, not because it's infinite in size at this exact moment, but because wherever consciousness goes, consciousness actually expands our reality, right? So the more you look, the deeper you look, the more you're going to find, the more the edge of the universe just is going to become further and further out. Now, we do know that there is a redshift happening, which means in a redshift, that means that things are moving away from you, right? And we know that by specific calculations in redshift, we can tell that the galaxies are all moving away from a central starting point. And so that gives us an idea of the expansion of the universe itself. And it can also give us an idea of the actual speed in which it is expanding. Now, according to astrophysicists, the universe is actually expanding much faster than it should be expanding based on the amount of matter and mass in the universe itself. And so that leads us to an understanding of dark matter and dark energy that is helping with that expansion, and it's creating the extra force that's needed to create this level of expansion at that speed. And when we say dark, we don't mean dark as in black. Dark means that we just can't see with the human eye and with specific instruments, but we do know that it's there. It is light waves. Dark energy is our light waves. Dark matter is a form of wavelengths that exist with something that's giving it some base mass. I'm sorry, maybe like a Higgs boson that's giving something mass there, and that mass is actually creating this expansion. It's pretty interesting stuff. But anyway, so we talked about this yesterday. We ended really here, but now we're going to get into the next part. Right now, we're looking at our solar system, right? And we're looking at where we are right now here, where it says sun, right? And so let me just do a quick check here, by the way, on this video to make sure I'm in the right place and just make sure you guys can see me. Just want to make, okay, looks good. So right here where you see the sun, this little circle and the little dot, that's where we are. We're on the boondocks of the Milky Way galaxy. We're out there, like in this outer region, one of these outer arm bands that orbits the supermassive black hole at the center. Okay, and we are in a fairly quiet region, to be honest with you, which is probably why we've been given our moment in the sun at this time, as far as us meaning humans, to develop and grow and everything else without that many calamities. However, it didn't really start off this way. And it's pretty interesting, the story on how we got here. When I'm talking to people about aliens and saying that aliens exist and aliens engaged this planet and did this and did that, a lot of people tend to get very offended by that, believe it or not. They get angry sometimes because they think that I'm taking away the accomplishments of our ancestors, when it's actually not true. What they don't understand is, because they haven't really listened to my work at all, is I'm telling you that our ancestors are not from this planet, is what I'm telling you. They're not little tiny green men with antennas on their head. We look like them and they look like us to a certain extent. A lot of them had much bigger cranial mass than us, but we would recognize them as a bilateral, bipedal, hominid person. The only difference is their stature was much larger than ours, and they appeared to be godlike because they had a lot of knowledge and they had a lot of technology. And so because of that, we deified them and worshiped them. Okay. Now, another thing we have to realize is that even the people on this planet, humans, Homo sapiens sapien, we're not even from here. Matter of fact, the planet itself isn't even from the Milky Way galaxy. Let me explain. Scientists now know we are not from here. This is an official peer-reviewed science report. Imagine the shock of growing up in a loving family with the people you call mom and dad, and then suddenly learning that you are actually adopted. This is the sense of shock that came as scientists announced that the sun, the moon, and our planet and its siblings were not born into the familiar band of stars known as the Milky Way galaxy, but we actually belong to a strange formation with the unfamiliar name of the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy. Not the Sagittarius constellation, the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy. All history books have already been rewritten. All astrophysics books have already been rewritten. This is now new peer-reviewed science that's actually being taught at university. This is not a mystery. It's not a conspiracy. This is now science fact. Using volumes of data from the 2-micron all-sky survey and 2-mass infrared, which is my favorite mode to look at the sky in, a major project to survey the sky in infrared light led by the University of Massachusetts, the astronomers are answering questions that have baffled scientists for decades and proving that our own Milky Way is consuming one of its neighbors in a dramatic display of ongoing galactic cannibalism. In other words, we are merging with another galaxy and have been for a very, very long time. The study published in the Astrophysical Journal, that I told you was published, is the first to map the full extent of the Sagittarius galaxy and show in visually vivid detail how its debris wraps around and passes through our Milky Way. And Sagittarius is 10,000 times smaller in mass than the Milky Way, so it's getting stretched out, torn apart, and gobbled up by the bigger Milky Way galaxy. When you look up at the night sky and you see that swath of, if you have no light, no light pollution, you look up at the sky, you see that big swath of stars going across, and you say, oh, that's the Milky Way. Well, scientists found out that that's not the Milky Way. This is new information. That is actually the Sagittarius being merged into the Milky Way. It's where it wraps around, and I'll show you right here. This is what you're looking at when you look up at the night sky with no light pollution, where these red stars are across.
Oh, yeah. So for y'all who are listening to the audio, I'm so sorry. I do want to pause it here real quick. I'm probably doing you a disservice, so I'm gonna let you guys know. For everyone here in the audio podcast right now, this will be presented in visual on the YouTube page. So you can find this on YouTube at A New Wrinkle on the Brain on YouTube. This is going to have all the visuals, all the presentation. He's literally showing me the best picture I've ever seen of how galaxies move around. And it really does explain how this galaxies either be, like I said, pulled or contorted, but that would explain this huge grouping of stars that we have made constellations of. We know from our vantage point on the ground, most of our constellations are either outside of this band of stars, or to us, it can sometimes even look like comets because it's moving that fast. I think there's just so much more that you can get from this visually. So for those who are listening to this audio, it may not do justice, but just be aware on Monday, coming up this Monday, that's going to be January 24th. Yes, this Monday, January 24th, you will be able to visually see the Billy Carson Part 3, and this is going to give you the full visualization of the stars, the star maps he's using, the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy map that he's showing currently. I mean, it's an amazing map. You can find this online as well. I was able to look this up. So Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, you can find that on Google. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put my visual. My bad. I'm here. Yeah, there we go. I'm still here. All right, yeah. So yes, you can find all this online. I'll try and provide some links as well, just in mind to where you can at least click on stuff in the audio podcast to where you can see some of these visuals. It may not have everything though, so I'm going to try and get just the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy pic, and I'll get a couple other pics throughout this one, or I may even just take some screenshots and link those or something. But I mean, we have some options. But yeah, we'll keep on checking this out. I just want you guys to know, if you do want to see the visual podcast of this, it will be available on youtube.com. It's gonna be youtube.com/ANWOTB, or A New Wrinkle on the Brain. You can spell it out. If you put ANWOTB, you'll find the page, or you just have to navigate. If you want to find this particular link, I will be providing the premiere link. It's not going to be a full podcast yet, because again, the premiere will be on Monday the 24th. So I'll give you the scheduled premiere. You can link that into your Google calendars, Apple calendars. Have fun with that. But yes, again, for the audio listeners, sorry, my bad, but video's coming soon. We appreciate your patience. Thank you.
Here, okay, let me see if I can make this more full screen for you too. Where these red stars are, this is where you're looking up at the actual Sagittarius. And what you're finding is where it merges with the Milky Way and how the Milky Way is actually absorbing this Sagittarius dwarf galaxy and merging. Now, when you see this yellow dot right here, this yellow dot, this is where the Sagittarius merges with the Milky Way. And it's the exact point in which where our solar system was dropped into place from Sagittarius. We now know that our entire solar system is alien to the Milky Way galaxy, making every single one of us and every planet, sun, and moon in this solar system an alien to this galaxy. We came from another place. That's what alien means. So who are the aliens? We all are. We actually all are from Sagittarius, okay? And this merger is still in the process of happening, and it will continue on for a few more 100 million years. And then the Milky Way galaxy will be merged completely with this, and all these additional stars and planets will be added to the Milky Way galaxy. But we originated from Sagittarius. This is information that the majority of people on this planet don't even know exists, because that's how new this information is, okay? This is an example of a merger between galaxies. This animation depicts the collision between our Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy. Hubble Space Telescope observations indicate that the two galaxies, pulled together by their mutual gravity, will crash together in about 4 billion years from now. Around 6 billion years from now, the two galaxies will merge to form a single galaxy. This video shows the Triangulum galaxy, which will join in the collision and perhaps later merge with the Andromeda Milky Way pair. Courtesy of NASA, the European Space Agency, and F. Summers. And you can see the billions of years building up in the lower right corner. We're at 5 billion years, how these galaxies are merging. So we're getting very close here in the merger. Soon, the Milky Way and Andromeda will be one complete galaxy.
Now, I'm gonna pause it one more time. I don't want people to feel that we're getting off topic, because this does still have to do with the Anunnaki, okay? But we have to understand there are mergers. There are things going on in the skies we don't understand. There are professionals out here that are rewriting history books, literally. And yeah, this is gonna get pretty serious. This is where this podcast is about to take a pretty big turn. He's confirmed so far several things. Let's just understand what Billy Carson's able to confirm so far. Number one, Jesus Christ is probably an alien. Number two, the story of Jesus Christ is more than likely incorrect. He definitely was placed here. Question, let's go back even further. Adam and Eve. Was Adam and Eve a creation story, or a story of a segregated, quarantined person being forced to multiply? Only that certain person, though, the created one. They didn't want the other things that were outside. There were already people here. Cain and Abel story. Come on. So if we can confirm so far that aliens, for sure, placement of people, for sure, servitude of man for 250,000 years, for sure, we now have this merger of galaxies, which would explain why this group would have found this place. We invaded their space, they invaded our space. We don't know. We have no fucking real clue, let's be honest. We weren't sitting there looking at the skies before the shit happened. So I mean, yeah, when you look back at the stories of the Bhagavad Gita, and it speaks of Vimanas, this is 30,000-year-old data, and they're talking about ships from the heavens or the sky coming down to Earth and having a battle in the sky. This is a pretty intense story to only have been 30,000 years old. meaning our merger must have been recent. So if this merger was that recent, we're still, the way I want to explain it, and I guess a good way to say it, because I'm a musician, the waves and ripples of what changed are coming back. Like the wave of us landing here, poof, push out of wave, that push out of wave. Oh yeah, we got attention to something. We got attention to something. There's a reason. There has to be a reason why all these biblical visions and saints, most of them are talking about aliens. There's a beautiful picture in the St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican Circle. I'm pretty sure there's a alien spaceship behind Mary Magdalene as she's holding baby Jesus. And this is a picture depicted to every Catholic and Christian in the world. Oh, another fun fact. The Roman Catholic Church was never founded upon it actually being a church. It was actually a Roman Catholic faction that was diverted from the original teaching, meaning the Gnostics were right. Those people they killed, aka the Catholic Reformation, those people they were killing were the people who were actually following exactly what Jesus was teaching, like his words, like Jesus said type text. But we killed them all off because there was a reformation into the Catholic Church. Why? 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 And then we made it legal because of Constantine. The fuck he fucking did it when he was dying. He was a Gnostic himself. Some stories even say he was Jewish. Fucking Constantine. The fuck? The stories don't fucking jive, man. The stories don't jive. And again, to give all this power to the people, to these people's names, we have to stop doing that. It's space, man. It's stuff in the air. It's stuff we cannot control. Those are the stories that last forever. The story of the stars passing across the sky, aka the North Star. The story of how they found Jesus in the manger. They followed a shining star in the sky. There's even during the flood, Noah he didn't know where to take his large vessel. He followed the stars in the sky. Okay, the movie Moana just hits all types of fucking chords with me, but it's real. It's real as fuck, because if anything's true, Disney's good at this shit. Disney will take a really, really legit old story and fuck with it a little bit, but they didn't do that with Moana. That's one of the rare ones. I'm like, wow, you guys stuck to the script. And I mean, Lilo and Stitch, probably not the best representatives of Hawaii, but Moana, dude, Moana, yo, that's a pretty good representation of the indigenous people of the whole West Indies and everything that we would call the Indian Ocean and eastward around Australia and all of this, what we would call the Virgin Islands. I don't know why America owns this location, but these islands and this island chain becomes what we would say is the islands of Samoa. Those people, Samoans, are known to have been here for a very, very long time, and their star charts are stupid good. But everything they've been saying jives with what Billy Carson's saying. There has to be another group of stars that are coming in, because even the star charts from the Samoans are having problems in like, hold on, this star used to be there, now it moved. Or, hey, hold on, this group, this cluster used to exist in this portion of the sky at this time of year. It does not no longer do that. There are so many anomalies. I don't want to call myself an astrologer. I definitely don't own a huge telescope and have expertise, if you will. But it is to say, have you been out on a really dark night and able to see the stars? It's complex. It's intense. It's not just awe-striking. It puts you in your place. And I think that's very, very important right now. I don't know how else to explain it, but there has to be a lot to say for stuff you can't explain. And when we can't explain stuff, as things change, it's hard for the mind to say, "Oh, okay, I'll go with it." So scientists said it. All right, cool, cool. That's what's up. Like I said, don't believe me. Don't believe me. Don't believe the scientists that were even claiming to have made this data. Don't even believe that. Watch this. Do your own research. Make your own mind. But you don't have to keep on going to the same building every Sunday, handing somebody your money, and he's not telling you anything that's going to help you. Just saying.
And the view from Earth will look very, very different in a few billion years, which you're going to see here in a second. Turn this down soon. So you can see here, billions of years from now, the Milky Way will collide with the Andromedan galaxy. So you're looking at what we now call Milkomeda, okay? This is what it's going to look like. And ironically, we're going to need a merger like this because our sun is going to run out of fuel. Our sun is middle-aged. Our sun only has about 5 billion years left. So by the time this merger fully happens in 7 billion years, our sun will be a white dwarf. And so that hence the need for breakaway civilizations, hence the need why advanced civilizations look for other planets to move to, because suns don't live forever. A lot of suns that can help harbor life within the solar system, they only have a limited amount of fuel, usually 10 to 20 billion years, and that's about it. Okay. All right. Now, what's interesting here is
back to the story.
There is a writing called the Epic of Atrahasis. And the Epic of Atrahasis is a very, very important epic. It's a Sumerian cuneiform writing. It's in tablet format. You can get it. You can see it if you want to see it in person, you can actually see it at the British Museum. Okay. And you can also get a copy of it on Amazon. You can buy the translation of it. You can also, and it was translated by George Smith many, many years ago in 1800s. This is not any work of any modern author. These translations are very old, very, very old. And you can also DLI cuneiform online digital library. And you can take one of these stones and you can drop the virtual stones into a virtual translator and you can read them right online for free as well. So there's many ways to get access to the information and knowledge in these tablets. There's no excuse for anybody to say that they don't know what's in there. No, we know what's in these tablets. It's well known. And I documented in my first couple of episodes that Zecharia Sitchin is a phenomenal researcher and a great man. They lied about him. They said that he was the only person who translated these tablets. That's an absolute lie. Whoever said that, you can tell right away they never read a tablet in their life and they never researched the tablets. The tablets were translated long before Zecharia Sitchin was even born. All he did was use existing translations, and he left the sources for all his work in his books. Every few paragraphs, he left the source of where he came up with the concept and the theory for that part of the book. So he left his breadcrumb trail right there. But people don't read, people don't study. And as soon as one person pops up with something negative to say, millions of people run behind that person as if it's the gospel, unfortunately. And so the Epic of Atrahasis is information that's been well documented and well known for a very, very long time. Long before me, Zecharia Sitchin, Gerald Clark, anybody, Matthew LaCroix, long before we were even thought of, this stuff was translated. I just want to get that out there for the skeptics. It talks about the Apsu being the oldest of beings and their progenitor. It talks about Tiamat, who he is, and what will become Earth. It talks about Mumu, the sun steward of his house. Marduk is Nibiru, planet of heaven. And it talks about Marduk a lot. Marduk is also known as Amun-Ra. That's who that is. That's Amun-Ra in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Marduk and Amun-Ra, same person. He's made it into the Bible. He's made it into the Torah. He's made it into the Jewish American Library and so many other texts. So does Enlil and Enki, and they're all in there. I mean, people didn't even know that Enki and Enlil were in the Bible. They had no idea. The Annunaki are in the Bible. They're called the Anak. So these beings are well known and well documented. Of course, the Bible would have them because they copied everything from the Sumerian tablets. Marduk is used to represent a planet called Heaven, and this is in the creation story of our solar system because he was given power by the leadership of the gods. And so it's a pretty interesting story. What he did was the initial copy of this story was in the Enuma Elish and the original, the oldest version. And in that version, Nibiru was a planet in there that had moons, and those moons had crashed into a planet in our solar system that we know as Tiamat, which we now know as the asteroid belt, because the asteroid belt is an exploded planet. There was a collision, a planetary collision, millions of years ago, and that collision created the asteroid belt. A huge chunk of that planet Tiamat, which had water-bearing and land, water-bearing planet with land on it. It broke away with all that organic material in life, and it recoalesced in the position we are now as Earth. Earth is a chunk of another planet, which is now the remains of it are now the asteroid belt. That's where Earth came from. And our moon was tugged along. It was the moon of Tiamat, and it was gravitationally pulled along into this position. The moon, to me, was in some way much later potentially artificially put into a geostationary orbit, synchronous orbit, where we can only see one side of the moon at any given time by the way that it rotates. And then also, I personally believe, based off of ground penetrating radar evidence that we have from Arecibo, that the moon itself has been mined, and there's something on the inside of the actual moon, some type of a structure. Whether it's ancient or not, I don't know, but I can tell you that anyone can get these images from usgs.gov and take a look at the ground penetrating radar, and it didn't take a genius to figure out there's something beneath the surface. That's why it rang like a bell when they crashed a lander into it years ago, right? So the Atrahasis epic, this is the tablet here. It has a version of the flood story. It talks about the Anunnaki coming from another planet. It also has a very interesting story because it also is talking about the fact that there were people living on Mars. They were called the Igigi, according to these tablets. And these Igigi were like this working class Anunnaki. Anunnaki just means people that come from heaven to earth. It doesn't mean any particular race. It's a generalized term. Just like if I was to leave Earth and go to another planet and they say, "Where are you from?" I would say I'm from Earth. I'm an Earthling. But I mean, that's just the overall umbrella. Underneath that, then I can go into I'm an Earthling from this continent, North American continent. Then I can go from North American continent. I can say, well, I'm from this country in the North American continent, and I'm from this actual state. And then I can go down to city. I can even go down to, the street and my home address, and then I can even go down to what race I am and what gender. So there's a breakdown there. But Anunnaki is a general umbrella term for people coming from heaven to earth, from space to a planet. These Igigi were up there on Mars. And in Genesis, there's an account of them as well. These are the angels, because they were also known as the angels. They fell from heaven to earth. They went from Mars to earth to go to battle against God, just like it says in the Bible. Anu was the god of the leader of these Anunnaki pantheon, and his son Enki and his other son Enlil were here on earth. And when the Igigi realized they had all three of those guys in one location at the same time, and they wanted to go to war against them, and the reason why they wanted to go to war, because they got tired of doing all the work and the labor. They were being treated as slaves, and they weren't slaves. They worked and labored for 250,000 years. They didn't have any human workers, or that didn't exist yet. It was just them doing hard labor. So they said, "Okay, this is it, man. We're done. We're going to go to war." They decided to go to war. So they fell from Mars to Earth. They fell from heaven to earth to go to war. And they basically rebelled against God. That's the whole story, right? They went against Anu, Enki, and Enlil in the Sumerian tablets, which is where the story came from. And what they did this at a place called Adam's Calendar in South Africa, which exists and now has been designated as the oldest discovered gold mine, which is exactly.
Okay, before we get into the oldest discovered gold mine, I want to go back to what he just said. Hold up. He said something real deep. Hold on. Because I don't want to let that go. Hold up.
So they said, okay, this is it, man. We're done. We're going to go to war. They decided to go to war. So they fell from Mars to Earth. They fell from heaven to Earth to go to war. And they basically rebelled against God. That's the whole story, right? They went against Anu, Enki, and Enlil in the Sumerian.
Okay. They went against Anu, Enki, and Enlil. They, when he says they, it means the slave group of Anunnaki, aka fallen angels. Fallen angels came to fight, to help the people not become their plight. There's a whole analogy of words I've heard one time. It was an old man. He was talking about religion. It was an ex-pastor, and I forget the guy's name. Shit. He's on. He comes on a lot with Jeff Doherty. I've done stuff with him before. God damn it, Larry Gaithers. There you go. So Larry Gaithers talks about this, and he's like, you know what? And as a huge theologian, I mean, he was at one point a professor of theology. He now is broken away from all that. He's been talking mad truth. I'm gonna do a whole thing on Mr. Gaithers again, because you know what? Y'all forgot. I remember shit. So I got Mr. Gaithers coming back. Don't play with me, man. I'm trying to get that dude on live. You know what I'm saying? But for sure, Larry Gaithers has such a beautiful take on how this is all some bullshit, and really how, okay, so if the fight was between Anunnaki gods and Anunnaki that were here on Earth, and then we had some motherfuckers that just show up out of nowhere and they start fighting, that's where you get the Marvel superheroes. That's where the superhero epic comes from. The whole entire idea of like, yo, somebody from not from here, what's Superman? He's from planet Krypton. He's powered by the sun, but he cannot be around kryptonite because it's his anti-sun. Sounds like someone not from here, super powerful, was controlled by a rock. You follow me? Now, let's take it one step further. Wasn't there something called the Epic of Gilgamesh? Seems strange that every time you talk to a scientist or a current theologian or a current pastor or something, ask them about giants. Ask them about Cyclops. David and Goliath is in the Bible. Why? It's like the one story that doesn't fit. It's like it's one of these like, oh, okay, so here's the story of Jesus, and here's how you should live your life. Oh, hey, you know what? So let's go ahead and just stick the story in there. And it's like, what the fuck? Where did this story come from? This doesn't make any sense given the data that you've given me before. I'm serious. Start reading the book like a book, god damn it. Shit. If there's anything else I could say, stop reading the Bible in pieces. Like, read the book. Just read the book. Read the book. Just read it. Like, yes, it's amazing. Yes, it makes you feel good. Okay, why would you stop reading it? And that's what always bothers me. It's like, okay, yeah, I have this favorite scripture. Oh my God, I have this favorite part of this book. Oh my God, I have this thing I've written, and it's based on what I learned after I read this portion of this book. Read the whole book. Read the whole thing. I mean, there is no other book that is misinterpreted as much as the Bible, I have to admit. And I mean, there are people. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, I am back. Yes, take off from where we left off, and Anunnaki. Annunaki. All right, here we go. Mr. Carson.
Tablets, which is where the story came from.
Let me make sure that this is sharing the audio. My bad. I don't think I clicked the button. Oh, never mind. Yes, I did. All right.
And what they did this at a place called Adam's Calendar in South Africa, which exists and now has been designated as the oldest discovered gold mine, which is exactly what they were doing there, mining gold. The gold mine dates back to 200,000 years ago. Again, all the alignments are happening through geology and modern sciences linking the ancient tablets and again, more circumstantial evidence, right? So just really good stuff. And so in the Atrahasis epic, they decided to go to war. Enki says, man, we got to figure something out. We're outnumbered here. And these people they're really trying to do this to us. So he says, I have an idea. There is an existing hominid on this planet. And so what we can do is we can add our essence to them. That means genetically do some tinkering. And we can get them to do the labor. We can get them to do the work. There was an actual suggestion about using artificial beings because they had a couple of these artificial beings working at the medical facility. But you see, the Anunnaki, they were smart. They realized they must have had something bad happen in the past because they were like, then they would outnumber us and why would they need us? So they even realized how AI and artificial technology and robots in a mass amount, not a good thing. They knew this, not a good thing. They said, no, we're going to take this biological creature and we're going to play with it. And we're going to make this thing here do the work, something that we can control. And so that's what they did. So they genetically modified the existing hominid on this planet. They initially, first of what they did was they took a couple of the hominids on the planet and they started trying to clone them. That was our cousins. They weren't Homo sapiens sapien, but they were our cousins. And I think that they were probably smarter than us, not technologically, but spiritually. They were more connected to nature. They had bigger brains and bigger skulls. We know this for a fact already because we found the bones. They probably had bigger pineal glands. They probably could use telepathy and things like that. They had more DNA connected because now we have disconnected DNA all of a sudden. So I think that what they're calling junk DNA used to be connected in our ancestors. But they started trying to clone them at first. The cloning would work, but they couldn't get the clones to reproduce. Just like if you take, two cloned animals and try to mate them, they can't reproduce. Or you take a lion and a tiger, you create a ligan, right? But the ligan can't reproduce. Same thing was happening. So they had a conundrum here. They had a big thing because they needed more speed of production of these beings to do this work, or they were going to end up going to war again, right? So Isis said, you know what? I have an idea. I'm tired of doing this. I'm gonna take one of these babies to term. So they took a female, they took the egg out, and then they took some of the Anunnaki sperm and other genetic material, and they mixed it together. This is what we call making a zygote in modern science. This is what we do right now in IVF. We do this. We create a zygote. And so she took that modified egg and inserted it into her womb. And then she went a term of 10 months, according to the tablets, and gave birth to the first baby. And she called it the Adamu, Adamu. And that translates from Sumerian into first man. That's what that means, first man, the Adamu. And there's a famous cylinder scroll of her holding up this, the baby, the Adamu, in her hands. And she says, my hands have made it. And that was the birth of Adam that we know in the biblical text as Adam. He was the Adamu, the first man. He wasn't the first person on earth. There were already millions of people here long before Adam got here. When they say first man, they're talking about the first genetically perfected version of Homo sapiens sapien that should be able to now reproduce and help them build their worker army. And so they started mating him with these clones at Eden, the Garden of Eden, Edin, where Satan was the person in charge. That was Enlil's other name, Satan. So Satan, the Lord of Eden, oversaw all the operations there, and that was located in Mesopotamia, which is now modern day Iraq. That's where the cradle of civilization is. Okay. Um, and he was mating with clones, but they weren't able to reproduce. So they said, okay, we gotta do something else. They took some of his bone marrow. This is where the whole story about the rib comes from. They didn't take the rib out. They took some bone marrow. They took some DNA from him. They created Eve. They made him and Eve, and they saw, okay, now we're making some progress here. Now this worked. And the
Just quick side note. Just quick side note. Has anyone seen the movie Species? It was an alien movie. The alien movie is called Species. It is a space sci-fi flick where a group of astronauts go into orbit. They're up there for a while. They may have a couple of mishaps and whatnot. They come back to Earth. During the Earth missions, when they're being debriefed and whatnot, they arise to find out that they have a stowaway. At one point, the stowaway was a group of cells. At the next point, the stowaway is a small child. A day or two later, it's a teenage woman. She's going through menopause. Going through puberty. So these aliens growing at such a high rate, it looked like human. It looked normal. It was something that even guys would fall for. This beautiful woman who was obviously highly sexually charged. In the movie Species, long story short, the man brain takes over, and yes, someone attempts to procreate with said female alieness. And with that brings a whole new group of aliens to the world. And the whole Alien series has a lot to do with the movie Species. So without saying they're sequels or not, there is a whole lineage of movies that are just like the old movie Alien. So if you saw the old movie Alien, but you never saw Species, go check it out. It's very interesting. Fun fact, the first female alien in the movie Species, when they genetically make her into a body and they are able to say, hey, here's her chromosomes. Hey, here's what she is. Her name's Eve. Fun movie fact. Have fun with that.
Garden of Eden, you would find that they had specific times that they would mate. It was like stalls, almost like horse stalls, and they had guards. And you would find that the man that they were, that they were now Homo sapien sapien, they would bring them out to mate with women only at specific times. This place was a giant laboratory, if you will, an outdoor laboratory with guards there to make sure people were mating at specific times. It was a breeding farm. Okay. It was a breeding farm, and you would get in trouble if you were mating outside of the time you were supposed to mate and all this other crazy stuff. It's wild. This is what they were doing. So it's pretty interesting stuff. This is all in the Atrahasis epic, right? This is why I dig into these ancient tablets, because the information in these tablets is so key to understanding what really happened in the ancient past, because you got people running around talking about Adam and Eve were the first two people, and then from Adam and Eve, we got everybody on the planet. Now, you know darn good and well, if you have sex with your sister or your brother, and then that baby come out, and that baby has sex with that baby, and there's no way you're going to get enough genetic material to create a civilization of 8 billion people. You know good and well it ain't going to work. That's why you're not supposed to have mate with your sister and your cousin and your brother and all that, right? Because there's no genetic diversity, which means you're going to end up having deformities, mental illness. You're going to have babies dying. You're going to have all this kind of stuff. It's not going to work out. You're not going to get the 7.8 billion mating the same people over and over again. Millions of people were on the planet at the time. As a matter of fact, when you get to Cain and Abel, when Cain killed Abel, and he was getting kicked out of Eden, and Lil told him, who was also known as Yahweh in the Bible, he tells him, he tells Enlil, he tells him, he says, hey, the people out there are going to kill me if you kick me out of here, right? What people? Like, and Lil's like, oh, Yahweh in the Bible, he's like, well, when you go out there, don't worry, I'm gonna put a mark on you. I'm gonna brand you so the people know, hey, this is my dude. Don't touch my boy right here. This is my boy. Don't touch him. So he got branded, and he sent them out. All right, and he says, when you get out there, don't worry, you'll find a wife. And he did. He found a wife, and then he began the Canaanites. Right, but again, the people were already here. I'm talking about a lot of people all over the entire planet. But yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why it's ISIS. If you read the book of Genesis, which is copied from a lot of the Sumerian tablets and cylinder scrolls, Genesis is the generations of Isis. That's where Genesis comes from. Genesis, generations of Isis, because she's the one that gave birth to the Adamu. Okay. And then we find these wars occurring all
Yes.
throughout. After they started getting all the people, they started all these
Mahabharata.
wars. War. It was always nonstop
Mahabharata.
battling and fighting. It's interesting because, they came from wars, right? They fled. They created new breakaway civilizations. They found new refuge, new homes. They started off nice, and then all of a sudden, here come the wars again. It's like we just can't get away from these damn wars. So it's something genetically encoded in the DNA. It's in the RNA. It's these epigenetic memories that are just playing out through generation after generation over many eons, right? Because now we go to the Mahabharata and we see more evidence of these ancient wars. And these wars were vicious. Not only were they vicious, but they used some weapons that were really incredible. The Mahabharata is an ancient Indian epic where the main story revolves around two branches of a family of the Pandavas and the Kauravas, who in Kurukshetra, they have a war and battle for the throne of Hastinapura. All right. And these battles are pretty consistent. Now, there are 100,000 verses, more than that actually, in the Mahabharata. I have the whole set up here. It's an amazing set. But you find that these people themselves are also who? They're the Anunnaki. They're the Anunnaki. Excuse me. And they're battling each other. It's fighting an asthma attack from yesterday. And they're battling each other over and over again. And they're using these incredible weapons to do this, to do this battling and do this war. It's pretty crazy. All right. Let's see here. Its longest version consists of over 100,000 schola, or 200,000 individual verse lines. That's how big this thing is. I think, let me see how big my set up there is. It's 10 volumes, and each volume is about 700 pages. That's how big this volume set is. About 1.8 million words in total. The Mahabharata is roughly 10 times the length of the Iliad and the Odyssey combined, or about 4 times the length of the Ramayana. W.J. Johnson has compared the importance of the Mahabharata to the world civilization, that of the Bible, the works of Shakespeare, the works of Homer, the Greek, and also the Quran. So when people start telling me there's no evidence of these people, there's no well, we got 1.8 billion words in an amazing volume set that tells you the story of these people and the wars fought on multiple planets and everything else right here on Earth that you have access to. And all it takes for you is to pick up a book and start reading. That's all it takes. It just takes for you to. These people weren't sitting around thousands of years ago going, you know what? I think we want to make up a story about blowing up a planet and people fleeing through space trying to find a new place to live. And no, come on, man. That didn't exist back then. People didn't waste time writing 1.8 million words to entertain us in the modern time. This information was vital and important. First of all, just getting ink and paper was hard. I mean, you ever seen how hard it is to make parchment paper? I mean, if you haven't, look it up on YouTube. I've seen parchment made in person. I have real parchment, that I've got in Egypt. They make it.
I'm gonna put in a brief word on that too. Real talk. I have 3 girls that are under the age of 10. So, for fun, during the whole COVID and whatnot, we had at one point done some paper mache. Paper mache is crazy. Before I get to this picture behind me, paper mache is crazy. Now that takes a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to make a mold or something takes a long time. And when you're talking about these tablets, that's really where I draw the line right there. I'm like, tablets, hold up. Number one, that calls for a curing process. When making paper mache, I mean, I'm out here with, newspaper, glue, and water, trying to make this work together. And it does make a good mold. But it's very temporary. It's very brittle, not very strong. A lot of pieces may be missing. A lot of the elements that might make this into something permanent are missing. When making a mold paper mache, you can drop in synthetic sand. So what we did, we made you can make a mold out of paper mache. You drop in the kinetic sand into the paper mache, make the mold of whatever you want, pack it, flip it over, open it. It stays in the shape of the mold. It's very, very interesting. Kinetic sand is dope. Kinetic sand is awesome. It's a really fun little product. You and your children can definitely have fun with it. It is messy. I don't suggest doing it around carpets. However, if you do have like a flat surface, any type of countertop, something like that, you can definitely have fun with your kids. Get your kinetic sand, make your little mold or something. You can make different molds out of the paper mache. So I mean, you can have a lot of fun with that. But anyway, back to what he's saying. Parchment's difficult. Parchment's hard. Now, what gets me is clay. So these clay tablets, again, clay is malleable. Clay is, if water gets to it, it's done. It's gone. Your life's over. You know what I'm saying? It's clay again. You know what I'm saying? Like, we now have mud. You have now equaled mud. But I mean, we have to stop for a second and say, hold up. You mean to tell me motherfuckers were keeping tablets 30, 40, 60, 125,000, 235,000 years that they still have these tablets? Mahabharata, 330,000-year-old text, 330,000-year-old text, 330. And they still can't really home it in on the 300,000 or whether it's 250,000. And based on what the Sphinx says, the Sphinx is kind of aiming at 165. So if we just kind of ballpark figure this is all coinciding with a 145,000-year-old precessional period of how stars move. If we know every 145,000 years, stars move, shifts change, and guess what? The world itself changes, like Earth changes. Every cycle, it changes. We know that's true. We have data to back it up. We have scientific evidence. We have documented evidence from core samples that prove beyond a doubt a lot of the things we're seeing with climate change are not actually new. This is actually very much so understood. We have a very, very good understanding of how this works, but we're being played with. Our money's being played with. Now they're playing with our taxes and whatnot. I don't know if you live in California. I mean, if you do, shit, use a bad, like my 9-year-old told someone, like my 9-year-old told somebody who's trying to get slit. My 9-year-old, she's cold. She's cold, man. She told somebody trying to get slick with her. She's like, you know what? I'm a bad bitch. So if you're still living in California, you's a bad bitch. And that goes for dudes too. Real talk. Yeah, I can't even say you a bad nigga. No, actually, you's a bad bitch, bro. like you's a bitch if you still there, really, on some real shit. But I mean, good luck to all y'all in California, man. I'm bummed out with what your governor wants to do, and we'll talk about politics another day. You know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to avoid it. I'm trying to avoid politics. Really trying my best. I'm gonna try harder. But yes, let's talk about Vimanas. Vimanas, Bhagavad Gita, the Indian epics. We don't talk about that, and you know, people eat curry. Let's be real. People will mess around and be like, "Oh, let's go eat Indian food tonight. Hey, let's go to the hookah place today. Hey, let's go to a Hotel 6 tonight." You're solidifying everything these people speak of and think of. Did you know in the Indian culture, it is to bestow a place to stay is similar of being like Buddha? Not to say, I'm not saying Buddha owned hotels. What I'm saying is, at one point in the Indian culture, it was so ordinary to allow someone to live with you. Or, hey, if you need somewhere to stay, I have a spot. To open your doors and to be accommodating. That is a thing within the Indian and Japanese culture for sure. But those cultures have that solidified in. Um, America's lost that, sadly. And again, I don't want to go political, but I'm just saying we've lost the melting pot we used to be. And I think the next part of this story is going to be pretty heavy for a lot of people who are like, well, what do we do next? This part of the story is going to give you a lot of that. So I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry, I'll stop pausing. You got about 14 more minutes, and then I'll be coming at you with my ending. But yeah, 14 minutes. So I'll give you 14 more minutes. 14 more minutes, all you get.
Plans. The flight plans for the Vimanas, and also the diagram of building them as well. So this is well-known information that you can look up for yourself. It's not secret knowledge. It's not hidden knowledge. It's actually public knowledge. We find, they talk about chariots of fire representing UFOs of one kind or another. These are all in the Bible now. Spoke wheels within wheels, gears of time, the wheel of time or alchemy. And then, a lot of this stuff is talking about snakes or human DNA in the biogenetic experiment set in a physical space and linear time. We're not talking about multidimensionality. We're talking about real people in a real third dimension here. Gods mating with human women to create the human race in their image. These gods were gods with a lowercase g. They were people just like you and me, just with more knowledge, more wisdom, and more technology. And then you have the blue star gods, the blue bloods, or the royal bloodlines descending directly from the gods, which they believe to this very day that they have the right to rule over mankind. The mythical battles of heaven and earth, the physical reality versus higher frequency duality. You have the mythical wars between the gods witnessed and depicted by humans since the beginning of time. These people were real, and the wars were real. They weren't fake wars. They happened. They occurred. And a lot of the times, human beings were involved in the battles. And a lot of these battles made it even into some of the books and texts known as the Bible, which I'll show you here in a minute. We have weapons of mass destruction, planetary destroying weapons. We have the Brahmastra, which is an astra or celestial weapon, a celestial weapon. Think of that word celestial. That is a big term to use. Celestial weapon created by Lord Brahma. A celestial weapon is a space weapon that has the capability of transcending great distances. It's not a planetary weapon. It's not a ballistic missile. They said celestial weapon. It sometimes is known as the Brahmastra, referring to a missile weapon. As described in a number of the Puranas, the Brahmastra is considered to be the very deadliest of weapons. When a Brahmastra is discharged, neither a counterattack nor a defense of any kind can stop it. Think about that. When a Brahmastra is discharged, neither a counterattack nor any defense of any kind can stop it. We're talking about a planetary weapon, a weapon that can destroy planets and most likely is the size of a planet or a moon. Okay? In ancient Sanskrit writings, the Brahmastra was a weapon created by Brahma along with its more powerful versions like the Brahmashira, the Astra, and the Brahmata Astra. The Brahmastra and Brahmashirastra
Sure.
are said to
Right.
be the mystical equivalent of the modern day atomic weapons, nuclear and thermonuclear bombs, respectively. Okay? They had some serious weapons. You look at the Indus Valley in Mohenjo-Daro on Earth, you see that the buildings there are turned into glass. You see that there's dead bodies in the street today, right now. This was one of the wars that occurred, one of the pyramid wars that happened. And these weapons were used there. Okay. The weapons that were used at this area were called the Ramamashira Astra, and the other one was the Brahmata Astra. Those two weapons were used in this war, and they created temperatures of over 3,000 degrees, which turned the sand and the buildings into glass. It incinerated the people and left them in the street. Still, the bones are still holding hands. What was left, whatever was left on their bones, is so radiated that no animals have ever scavenged the bodies.
Mm.
And they're still laying in the same spots today, holding hands in the street, these dead bodies in the Indus Valley in Mohenjo-Daro. You go to Egypt, if you put your hand deep enough in the sands of Cairo, you'll come up with balls of glass. They used to take those glass balls in ancient times and turn them into scarab as honors to the god, the war of the gods. How do you get sand to turn to glass? 3,000 degrees. How come you think that area turned into a gigantic desert? You think it was like that thousands of years ago? It
Mm-mm.
was plush landscape. It was the Nile. It was palm trees and everything else. And then that last pyramid war turned that whole area into a giant desert. Okay, that's where it came from. It came from the war. It eradicated that entire region with these weapons. And this is what one of the weapons here look like. It looks like the same thing you've seen in the Star Wars movie, right? The Death Star. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about in our solar system. You see the Death Star from Star Wars on the left, and on the right, you see a moon. And if you look at this moon is called Iapetus. And what's interesting about this moon, it's got this 3 mile high ridge going right around the equator, putting it together like a top and a bottom. And then it's got this octagon on it right here, this perfectly shaped octagon. And it's got another one on the other side. You can barely see it from this image here. But what's interesting is it resembles eerily the Death Star from Star Wars. This object.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. Uh, had to chime in. He's doing something to where we're talking about a planet-sized weapon or a planet-sized planetoid that may cause havoc on Earth. All right. So check this out. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm more of a Star Trek dude myself. You understand? So for all my Star Trek folk, here you go. I'm not gonna leave y'all out, but we do have the Borg planet. Now the Borg planet is just a huge amalgamation of the Borg ships. We know the Borg ships are cubes. We know that. Like this is not new for anyone who's been into Star Trek. You know what I'm talking about. The Borg are that planetary kind of ant following group. They're not something that's here to save you. They're something here to amalgamate you, to make you into what they are. Now, the Borg have a lot to do with interplanetary battles, issues of life and science, but they also integrate the biological with the mechanical. And when we get to the point of having a whole planet that's half mechanical, half organic, this is something I don't think we've ever seen before. This is something strategically. How do you fight that? How do you fight that? How do you fight something like this right here? How do you fight something like this right here, where you got this huge planet-sized planetoid thing? I mean, call it whatever you want, but this is a pretty mean little pick right now. You know, this is pretty mean. It's pretty nice. Like, this is something like, hold up. So you mean to tell me we can just generate this right here? and it gets deeper into the video games, and it shows, the whole cityscape creating the probe that will become what Billy Carson up here is saying, where it's like, yo, we got this thing that looks like what we would call the Death Star. And it's in our solar system. It's right here. It's not far away. This is not data we don't understand. No, dude, you can see this from your backyard, yo. Like for real. If you have the right type of telescope, you can see this moon iapetus that he's talking about. You can see it from your backyard. It's real. It's a very real thing. It shines hard too. It's really easy to see. It's not something that's hard to miss. Like, yo, Billy Carson is saying something that y'all might want to just listen up to. Sorry, I'm out.
When it was scanned years ago, it's thought to be hollow by the space agencies. This is an artificial moonlet that, in my opinion, could be one of these Brahma weapons from ancient times, just sitting there now collecting dust in space. Let's see here. Contrary to popular belief, Albert Einstein did not create the nuclear bomb. Now, was some of his science and physics used in the splitting of the atom? Yes. But not because he was trying to build a nuclear bomb. People were taking pieces of his science and his knowledge and utilizing it for other things. Just like you can take something, a knowledge that I give you, and you can use it for good. And you can also take that same knowledge and use it for evil. It's up to you. The real person behind it is Robert J. Oppenheimer. And he says when they did the first test of the first nuclear weapon, he said, "Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds." Okay. In an interview about the first test of the atomic bomb, first televised in 1965, as part of a documentary called The Decision to Drop the Bomb, Oppenheimer remarked that upon seeing the test, he thought, "Now I'm become death, the destroyer of worlds." He was quoting from the 1944 Pramavanda, and that's basically coming out the Hindu scripture known as the Bhagavad Gita. So he's quoting the Bhagavad Gita in his explosion of this nuclear weapon. Again, adding more credence to the fact that these people, they know exactly what they're doing. They're getting a lot of these weapons, the ideas and the concepts for these weapons, and even the design and how to build them and what they're supposed to accomplish from ancient text. Because it's all in the text. The text, you read these texts, you read them like a doggone physics book. You can put things together. And he's not the first person to do these kind of reconstructions from ancient knowledge. Hitler was one, all right? He built the Hannibal craft from getting down there into Antarctica after going through a lot of ancient texts and tracking down the monks in Tibet, and then getting directed to Antarctica with a combination of ancient knowledge and text and some channeled material, along with these beings that he found, these pre-Adamite people that he found in Antarctica. He was able to build ships that were anti-gravitic, right? And it always goes back to wars. And a lot of these wars even made it into the Bible because the Bible copies a lot of their information from these ancient tablets. The Old Testament is a combination of the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Enuma Elish and the Seven Tablets of Creation, the Atrahasis epic, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Code of Hammurabi, all these texts made up, and a few more. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is a little bit there. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, some of that as well in the Old Testament. But all these texts are what people over time rewrote, copied from, made little tiny scripture scrolls from them, right? Cylinder scrolls and things like that. And then all of a sudden, somebody even later than that, in 100 AD to 900 AD, decided to start putting these together in the format of a book. And the Council of Nicaea picked what was going to go in, what was going to go out, what was going to stay, what wasn't going to stay. And that's how you got the modern day Bible. It's a hodgepodge of plagiarized content. But the wars from the Anunnaki are evident in there. If you go into the book of Deuteronomy, which is what they never want you to read, they never want you to talk about this in church. Nobody wants to talk about this book of Deuteronomy. They don't want to talk about it. I've tried to talk to people about it. Christians don't want to bring it up. They don't even want to hear it because you know why? It's going to prove my point. And the point is two things. The first thing is in the Bible where you see the word God, singular, that's a mistranslation by accident on purpose. By accident on purpose. They actually accidentally on purpose forgot the S. Everywhere where you see the word God in the Bible, it's supposed to be God's plural. They decided to take off the S to bring the same, to keep the idea, the concept of monotheism, a one God religion. But you go back into the ancient text and you translate going backwards, the deeper you go, the more you find out, oh, this is the original translation. Oh, they modified it. Okay, this is what happened here. And you also find out that in the book of Deuteronomy, these are the wars of the gods using human beings as chattel, like the same thing they do today. You see where God tells the people, kill the entire town if one person worships another god. What other god? Oh, he's talking about his relatives is what he's talking about. These people were so jealous of one another. They all wanted to have dominance and control over the whole planet. They couldn't even just take care of the little area that they were in. They wanted everything. And they were using human beings to do it. Suppose you're here in one of those towns the Lord your God is giving you, that some worthless rabble among you have led their fellow citizens astray by encouraging them to worship foreign gods. In such cases, you must examine the facts carefully. If you find that it is true and can prove that such a detestable act has occurred among you, you must attack the town and completely destroy all of its inhabitants as well as all the livestock. Then you must pile all the plunder in the middle of the street and burn it. Put the entire town to the torch as a burnt offering to the Lord your God. Now tell me, do you really think that that's the creator of the universe making this kind of a statement here? Because if you do, man, you might need to go get your head checked, because that is not the creator of a universe. The creator of a universe is not going to go from all the way up top above all the universes and come all the way down in here and say, hey guys, this person might be doing a little something I don't like. Go kill everybody. Doesn't make any sense. It's irrational thinking. It says, it's just too funny to me. Then you must pile the plunder. Keep none of the plunder that has been set apart for destruction. Then the Lord will return his fierce anger and be merciful to you. He will have compassion on you and make you a great nation. So he brainwashes these people into thinking they're going to have this great nation if they listen to him and go kill all these people. They do the same thing today, right? You go to high school, you don't got no money for college. You're like this poor person. You're this poor kid, right? And so what they say is, I don't got no future. Well, I got to go join the military. So you go join the military, and then the military says, hey, you kid, I'm going to send you halfway around the world. I want you to take this $5 million weapon and blow up this guy and his whole family that's riding his camel with this $50 tent. And so you go ahead and you press that button and you blow them people up, and you go, hey, I'm a good guy, really. I just wanted to go to college. In your mind, you rationalize the murder you committed because you're thinking, hey, I'm just following orders. I'm not really a bad person. You see what I'm saying? They did the same thing to these people. They're doing the same thing today. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. And this is why understanding the past is important. This is why knowing what the hell happened is important, because they're pulling the same stunt on you right now. And you telling people, oh, thank you for your service. Oh, thank you for your service and all this other kind of stuff. Meanwhile, these people are killing people halfway around the world for no reason. They don't even know these people. And this is why since 2001 till today, 27 to 30 military people commit suicide every single day. We're over 300,000 suicides now, veterans, not live military, active military, veterans. Over 300,000 veterans are out of here, commit suicide. You know why? Oh, they realized what happened. They realized what they did. They somebody with a $5,000 suit sent them around the world to kill people so that they can get richer. And when they got back here, they didn't get any benefit out of it. They got no benefit. Matter of fact, most of these people are homeless, broke, poor. Their credits are all screwed up. I know people in the military right now. All of them got bad credit. All of them struggling. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. They get transferred from base to base, so they'll go buy a car knowing that they can't afford the car, but they know when they get transferred to their next base, the government has to pay the car off. So that's how they all have nice cars. They don't have any money for no nice cars.
Chase.
You see, it's a pimp game. But they're doing this because in their mind, oh, I'm just following orders. It's okay, but I'm living like I'm getting the free rent. I'm getting the barrack. I got my medical. I got this nice car. You know. Meanwhile, you're following orders of henchmen for a living, and the same thing was happening back then. Didn't change. But if you don't understand what's going on here, then you just go sign up for the military right away, thinking it's all good, not realizing you're getting ready to get used like a pawn. The Lord your God will be merciful on you. Obey him and keep all the commandments I'm giving you today, doing what is pleasing to him. That's Deuteronomy. Crazy stuff. Here goes some more. Let me show you this one. Kill men, kill women, kill children. Then I heard the Lord say unto the other man, this is God speaking again. Now you tell me if this is somebody that you would respect as a creator of a universe. Then I heard the Lord say to the other man, follow him through the city and kill everyone whose forehead is not marked. Show no mercy, have no pity, kill them all, old and young, girls and women, and little children. Do not touch anyone with the mark. Begin your task right here at the temple. So they began by killing the 70 leaders. Defile the temple, the Lord commanded. Fill its courtyards with the bodies of those you kill. Go. So they went through the city and did as they were told. Ezekiel 9, 5 through 7. Okay, you see what I'm saying? This is garbage, man.
That's not the way, yo. He read it to you. Ezekiel 9, 5 through 7. That's New Testament too. You can get on my face with that, bro. Like, nah, man. Nah, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. That's not cool. Right now, COVID and shit, we got people out here hurting. Business owners who've lost their business, landowners who've lost their land. You have farmers that can't sustain it. There's a beautiful video I did, it's a video I shared on Facebook. It was the guys from Diesel Brothers on YouTube, and I mean, it made me cry for real. That made me cry because they helped out a cow farmer up in Utah that he was down to his last like $500 in his pocket. You understand? He was down to like, I can't feed these animals. I mean, I have 1,000 head. I got $500 in my pocket, and here's my last feed. Like straight up, like that was his Facebook post. You know, here's my last feed. Here's all I got. I mean, $500. It's not gonna feed 1,000 head of cattle, man. Is he was at his wits end. He had no idea what he was gonna do. And words like this don't save him. You know, words like what happens in Samuel 15, 2-3. I have to understand that's what's the word? That's not what's supposed to happen, right? So when people say like, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, it might be because we're reading stuff like this, okay? Maybe we need to wake up. Maybe we need to be like the Diesel Brothers and go help us, the farmer who's making the cows, yeah? Maybe we should go out there and, hey, buy a bale of hay. Go find out what the price of a bale of hay is. Do you even understand that when you go to Whataburger, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, when you're getting your fucking taco, when you're getting your little taquito, hey, whatever you're getting, man, even if it's pork, I don't care, dude. Even bacon, for sure. We need to talk about bacon. There's a whole entire conversation I got about bacon. But you have to understand, you don't get these products clean. It's not a clean gig, bro. It's not. Something has to die. And whether you like chicken nuggets or not, there has to be something in that thing to make it a chicken nugget. There has to be something in it to make it a hot dog. Guess what's in a hot dog? You might be surprised on that. You're like, oh, you can't get cleaner than a hot dog. Are you fucking serious? I mean, like your best bet's really like a steak, but oh, I don't want steak. I don't eat meat. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, we need protein. The body is an omnivore. Why would we take away one of our vores? Just asking questions. It seems as though, even though we were given some type of standard to think of, we now have the alternate think, and oh, I'm a vegan, I don't eat meat anymore. Well, let's be honest, back in the day we would have killed you. Yeah, based on the text, based on the biblical text, if you would have pulled this dumb shit, oh, well, I don't eat meat anymore, you would have died on the stake. You may have been stoned to death. The way and tactics they would kill people at that time was very, very different. I think we should go ahead and check out the next piece because it's very, very important.
This is what the Lord of hosts has to say. I will punish what Amalek did to Israel when he barred his way as he was coming up from Egypt. Go now, attack Amalek and deal with him and all that he has under the ban. Do not spare him, but kill men, women, children, and infants, oxen and sheep, camels and asses. People follow this psychopathic person that they're calling their God. This is what.
Yeah, making my booty hurt, bro. Like, dude, I'm looking around like, yo, what the fuck? Like, dude, is that in the, like, yo, let me sit around my kids and shit. Fuck. But now it turns out, like, no, we have been saying this to our kids. That, okay, if I have to be the first generation to do it, I'll do it. I don't mind being changed. I've done that for a long time. If I'm going to be changed and I'm going to be the generation of change, I have to say, why did you guys let us do this shit for 3,000 years, you sons of bitches? What the fuck? Nah, I'm angry. Because this is some shit. This is some dumb shit. So what the fuck? So we were told it's okay for our God to just kill folks, right? Hey, well, my God, I believe in, killed a lot of Israelis. Yes. But now, with where we are now, my God would never kill an Israeli. It's gonna get political. I can't stop it. Shit. I'm trying my best not to stop it. I can't emphasize enough that this may or may not have a lot to do with where we are right now. Shit, fuck it, Billy. Come on, man. Just fuck.
They're following a stone cold killer. What I found in the Bible, along with these ancient tablets and texts, it's always the God that's ordering all the murder. So if you go and do a tally on who's been killed in the Bible, who ordered all the killing, the person that ordered all the killing is not Satan. Okay. It ain't the devil that you think. It's this God that's doing all the murdering and the killing. Pretty interesting. That's why I believe that there's a God, but not the one inside these religious books. Then the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid or discouraged. Take the entire army and attack Ai, for I have given you the king of Ai, his people, his city, his land. You will destroy them as you destroyed Jericho and its king. But this time you may keep the captured goods and the cattle for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the city so that Joshua and the army of Israel set out to attack Ai. Joshua chose 30,000 fighting men and sent them out at night with these orders. Hide and ambush in close behind the city and be ready for action. When our main army attacks, the men of Ai will come out to fight as they did before, and we will run away with them, and we will let them chase us until they have left the city. For they will say, the Israelites are running away from us as they did before. Then you will jump from your ambush and take possession of the city. For the Lord your God will give it to you. Set the city on fire as the Lord has commanded. You have your orders. You see this foolishness? This is garbage. These are Sumerian and these are Anunnaki people fighting each other that is spread from Mesopotamia throughout the entire region. But not only that, it went even global because no matter where you read these stories from, it's always the same thing. These gods are commanding their people to go fight another god's people to kill them and take the spoils of war. And then they get more land, they get more kingship, they get more dominance over other areas of land. It's a way of acquiring more, building your empire. That's what it is. Okay. This is a good example of what I was talking about. Hey, don't blame me, kid. Those politicians in Washington sent me here. I'm a good guy, really, right? You see this kid here? I mean, this is what happens. This guy.
For the audio listeners, for those who are not able to visually see this, I do want to explain what he's showing. It is a very telling visual. It is a meme. In this meme, it is a soldier. The soldier stands strong with his hand stopping entry of this young boy to see his family. He's walking out of the room with blood on his boots, and he's stopping the child from entering this room by saying, "Hey, don't blame me, kid. Blame the politicians in Washington who sent me here. I'm a good guy, really." The kid's crying. He's holding his M16 still hot towards his chest. His boot stain, the same as the stain on the floor and blood, the same boot stain is on the door that he kicked in order to kill his family. The next adjoining piece of text reads, "I just joined to get money to go to college."
He goes and he listens to his God, which is the military guy, right? Because trust me, they put that military guy above the real God. And then they go and they follow up, but they follow through with that order, man. They don't miss. But in their mind, they try to justify it. Oh man, I'm just following orders. I'm not a bad person. Oh yeah, you are. Yes, you are. Don't lie to yourself, man. You screwed up. So where were we? At 9 o'clock. We're going to go next week into Uruk. Yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna go 2 more slides, and then I'm gonna stop and answer some questions before I go. So Uruk, and then I'll proceed after because I want to show you something. So here we have Uruk, which is a old establishment, still kind of standing here. This area is one of the areas of evidence of one of the first wars and blasts, one of the first areas of kingship on the planet Earth. You can find it also in the Sumerian kings list, which I'll be covering next time. And what's interesting is this place is tied to a lot of wars. Here's a cylinder scroll that depicts one of these beings dropping what looks like a bomb, and you can see the explosion, and you can see the arrows pushing out in different directions.
I do not call myself an expert of art history. I will also not concede myself to be an expert of military ballistic history. I think these are both avenues for experts, and it would be up to experts on if what I'm about to say is true. Now, what I'm about to say is weird because I'm confused as much as you are. By hearing such a thing, you would wonder, well, you mean a bomb? You mean like the shape of a bomb, Maji? Yes. For those who are listening to the audio only, yes, literally, yes. At one point into the Mesozoic era, even the people who may have made Easter Island, let's think about what we're thinking. Easter Island was a grouping of large pieces of rock looking one direction because something happened. how do we not know that maybe the Eastern Islanders, one of the islands that didn't get impacted by this bomb, war, let's use the word possible genocide, but we would say they were safe in the outburst of something climatic. I think that's fair. Now to say that the Eastern Islanders were void of this climatic thing, but also knew something bad happened that way. To see the plume and to, I'm sorry if you guys don't see the visual yet. Again, the visual comes out this 24th. That's going to be January 24th, this coming Monday, January 24th. But for those who are just listening, it literally is a clay tablet showing a guy dropping a bomb, and the bomb having a mushroom cloud, and the mushroom cloud having arrows shooting from it. Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude what I've been trying to explain this whole time. We have been retold our own story. Please, oh my gosh, please, guys. Oh, breathe in the good ass prana, baby. Breathe in the good ass prana, baby. So, I mean, okay. So I'm gonna give him 2 more minutes because there's something he's gonna say, which is dope. I want to find a good. I gotta cut this off eventually. You know, I can't Zoom forever. Apparently, Zoom wants to charge me for this. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna pay Zoom. I'm not down with that. No, you're not taking my money. Well, I mean, I've given you money before, and they're like, no. We need more money. Hey, look, what you gave us wasn't enough money. But I gave you money. I assumed what I gave you was enough. No, boy, you don't, man, you ain't know nothing about no money, boy. Yeah, so apparently I got to wrap this up. So check this out. Yeah, here we go.
Depicting force. Okay, pretty interesting. And this is Mohenjo-Daro, the massacre. You can see the bodies are still laying out in the street today, right now. And you can see that if you go there with a Geiger counter, you'll find that these bodies are still irradiated at a higher level than background radiation. And no animals have scavenged any of the body parts because the animals don't want to eat radiation. These are the wars of the gods happening on Earth. Here goes a dead body almost kind of infused into the staircase at Mohenjo-Daro. And so Mohenjo-Daro is in the Harappa in Pakistan, and it gave the first clue to the existence of more than 4,000 years of civilization, long time ago. And these cities demonstrated an exceptional level of civic planning and amenities. They were on the same level as some of the Atlantean, I guess, not civilizations, but cities. Like the one that I saw in, I went to Santorini, then I went from Santorini, I went down to Akrotiri, and there was this ancient Atlantean city there that got buried by volcanic ash, and it had everything that this place had. It had an actual aqueduct. It had they had flushing toilets. They had a whole plumbing system in the house and throughout the entire city. They had running water. It was just an incredible thing to see. The structure, the way the buildings were built, they even had rebar inside the concrete. It was incredible. This is like advanced structures. And this place, Mohenjo-Daro, it had all the signs of a highly technological civilization. But what's left of it now is, buildings that have turned into glass and dead bodies. The wars of the gods. More evidence of these Anunnaki on Earth. These are some battling, warring people that had wars millions of years ago, forced them to flee from where they originated from, forced them to become breakaway civilizations, And then when they found their new homes and created their new civilizations, what happened? They brought the wars back again. And when what the problem with that is they taught us how to fight in these wars. If you read the book of Enoch, which I'll go over one day, in Enoch, you see that the fallen angels, which are really these people, they came down and taught us how to make weapons and how to fight. Okay. Um, and according to Enoch, these people came from space to Earth. And not only that, they took him into space when he described the shape and the color of the planet from space. And yes, he said it was a sphere. He said it was round, a ball. But what's amazing is that these teachings of how to fight and how to make war and following these deadly orders without question, we see that how it's been ingrained into our DNA till this very day. And all you got to do is look around the planet and look at all the wars. You see, there appears to be no heavy Anunnaki presence, although we don't know it. They could be running from behind the scene, ruling from behind the scenes. But overall, we get into enough fight problems on our own. We fight each other on our own without them. We don't even need them to keep the wars going. We're ready to fight in a heartbeat because wars generate income. And so that's the problem that we're facing. But until we get the youth to study and understand how we've been manipulated, what they've done to us, how they've done it, and why we're fighting each other, we'll continue to have people growing up thinking it's okay to join militaries to go kill people on the other side of the planet based off of the order of somebody who's never going to get into a fight themselves. You know, never gonna get into a fight themselves. Now, you want to stop wars? I have the solution. All you have to do is say, okay, Mr. President, okay, Mr. Emperor or King or whatever you are, you guys want to go to war? This is the rules now. In order for us to go to war, you have to be on the front line, and so does your oldest kids. You guys, y'all lead the fight on the front line, hand-to-hand combat battle. You must face off with the other side's emperor or king or queen or whoever you got, whoever you're angry with. You guys go hand-to-hand battle first on the front line, and then we come behind you. I guarantee you, there won't be another war on this planet. There'll be very few wars left after if that became a global.
Hey, fuck that shit. Let's make that shit interesting. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Let's make that shit interesting. Like, yo, let's make that shit interesting to the motherfucker. Like, yo, he's so right. If you put, okay, look Biden, Hunter Biden, right now. Front line, right? Front line. Hey, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, right now. Front line, right? And y'all are about to go fight. Whoever, fuck it, I don't give a fuck who you fight. Number one, Jinping, he ain't gonna play straight. So you're gonna get some like badass Chinese just murky shit. This is a, oh my god, what a good Jet Li movie. All right, so this is like Jet Li, Jackie Chan. Oh, dude, okay, so okay, they can all be represented. Oh wow, this is great. Okay, so he did Jet Li to represent North Korea. We get Jackie Chan in China. Jackie Chan's going China Reformation. You know what I'm talking about? But if America sends somebody, we're sending Joe Biden and Hunter Biden to fight this fight. Holy shit, that's funny. Oh, man. Whew, that joke writes itself. I'm not going to tell it to you because I'm going to do it on stage. Yes, I'm taking that joke to I'm taking that joke to Austin. Yes, that's my joke. That's my joke. I'm taking that joke to Austin. I get 1 minute. I've always wanted to do Kill Tony. I'm really down to do it. But yes, that's my joke. If there were ever gonna be a celestial fight, and you had to pin people together, I'm just gonna pull names together. I think it's a really fun tactic. It's good. It integrates the crowd a little bit. It really does a lot in 1 minute. It's like I can get up there and say, "Hey, here's where this gets this real huge of just all this data. Like, hey, well, it's been documented. Apparently, all of history is completely incorrect. Everything is wrong. Everything we've been told is incorrect. But if we were to just have a battle right now, would Superman fuck Batman or would Batman fuck Superman? Because to me, I think strategy wise, Batman might win. I'm just saying, just saying, Batman might win. DC's getting brutal lately. We gotta just be honest. DC's been getting brutal lately. Superman might take it to the butt. I don't know. I don't. Again, I'm not a Marvel fan. I don't do that. We do Star Trek here. Anyway, sorry, Billy. Sorry. What a tangent. I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible host. Billy, if you don't mind, I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
Mandate, right? What do? They use the poor and the ignorant to go out and do their fighting for them. They sit back in the $3,000 suit and all the silk robes and everything else and the crowns, and they get you. They pimp you into doing their dirty work, and you willingly do it for the crumbs that they toss at you. They throw you crumbs and you do it without question, without asking. Just boom, it's done. And then after they get done with you, they toss you away. You're useless waste to them. You mean nothing to them. And it's the same thing in the ancient past. Nothing has changed. This is why we have to understand what they've been doing. You got to wake up and say, wait a minute, they've been doing this stuff for how many millions of years? How many thousands? Thousands of years? We can't continue on this path. We'll never get to a golden age. And that's the importance of the information that I'm trying to bring to you guys. So let me stop sharing my screen. Let me go back to the main screen here. All right. I appreciate you guys. I'm telling you, you got to talk to these kids. Why do you make music? Why are you doing? I'm doing music. Why am I doing rap music? I'm not really rapping, but I'm producing and things like that. I'm trying to get to these kids. They got to get knowledge. They got to get information. They have to get something. They can't keep getting Molly and this and that and all those other crazy stuff they're rapping about and singing about these days. They need to get some knowledge in their head so they can stop making these mistakes.
Yeah.
At some point, if the parents ain't stopping them, damn it, I'm going to try to stop them.
Yeah.
But I got to do it in ways that I can creatively get into their head, because I can't just walk up to every kid on the street and give them and tell them. I got to find creative ways to get to them, you know? Yeah. And if we don't start with the kids, man, we're screwed. We're absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Because we're going to keep the same cycle going. They don't have this ancient knowledge. Because I'm telling you, if you get this ancient knowledge, what I just told you today about these wars and how we've been getting pimped into fighting each other and doing these wars by these fake gods, which now the fake gods are politicians. If we don't stop doing this, we're not going to get to there will never be peace, because they don't want peace. They don't want it. What they want is they want to keep that war machine going so they can keep generating income for themselves, because war creates money. It generates a lot of money, and you're just expendables. You guys are just expendables. And anybody who gets killed, even civilians who get killed, it's just collateral damage. It means nothing to them. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. We knew that. We had calculated this amount of people were going to get screwed up. Just like before Obama left office, his final command was to drop that bomb over there, and it ended up blowing up a school bus with kids on it on their way to school. You know? You think he shed a tear for that? Please, he ain't shed no damn tear for that. He didn't shed no tear. He didn't shed people. Obama. This guy killed so many women and children. His bombs, his drones killed a lot of women and children in hospital. It blew up. I think he blew up 4 hospitals, 5 school buses in the 8 years. I mean, come on, guys. Are you kidding me? He's killing kids.
Okay, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I'm sorry. My bad. I don't want to be political, but you have to see the policy has to jive with what he's saying. Do you see this? No, for real. I really was trying not to be political. I was trying to be like real, like, yo, my bad. You know what? I'm not even gonna edit it. If you've watched this far, I'm not gonna edit it. If you've watched this far, you can see me having this moment now, like Jimmy Dore's had, like a Kyle Kalinski's had, like a wow, isn't that wow? That's strange. I can't say Rachel Maddow. Ooh, oh, and she's on live all the time, and even she kind of went back down. Wow, ouch. Anyway, I'm sorry, my bad. You know, let me just shit. It's called damage control. All right. This is what Washington's gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna do. But when I do something and I bother people, I'm not your friend anymore. That's fine. I don't give a fuck. I truly fucking don't. But we have to stop being force fed. And when we're being force fed data, force fed an idea and a process, when we're being force fed what to think and what to believe, someone has to say no. I'll be the first. Where's my hand? Where's my hand? Where's my hand? Here's my hand. Oh shit. Oh shit. Where's my hand? It doesn't keep my hand. Fuck it. Anyway, fuck it. Dude, I'll be the first. I'll be the first. I'm fucking done. I'm done. Me and Facebook, we've been done for a while. Thank you, Facebook. You've been great for a long time. I didn't have to do all this shit for fucking MySpace for damn sure. But yes, we have now completely broken down the synopsis of religion. So that those doors are open. All those doors are open now. I'm feeling very spacious. I'm feeling spacious. Feeling like I can stretch and shit. Feeling like I can just stretch out and whatnot. But god damn it, fuck, just let your brain do it too. Let your brain do it too. Let your brain just kind of. There's gonna be some meditation stuff we'll do later. I have a whole synopsis we'll do on other cool God talks. Hey, anyone who ever watched American Gods, I have a whole American Gods series we're gonna do this year. 2022, yo, I got some shit for you, yo. I got some really cool shit. But we are gonna stick to some religious stuff for now. Again, I'm not gonna get political. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. What if I write it? If I write it, can I write it? I think I can write it. I mean, can't get in trouble for writing stuff, right? What if I have a sticky note? Like, can I get a sticky note? What if I write a new sticky note? You know, just I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a new note for myself. Maybe. I mean, maybe I need to remind myself of stickies, and I have to have a sticky note. I need a sticky note. Who knows? Who knows, man? Oh, there you go. Links to me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, let's go ahead and share that. Let's share that page, man. That is awesome stuff. Let's share the sticky note. We'll share the sticky note. Yeah, we got the sticky note there. There you go. We got sticky notes. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so check it out. This is all your links you're gonna need right there. That's how you get to me. You know what I'm saying? Full screen on the sticky note. That's what I'm talking about. Wow, that's sexy. That is sexy stuff. Sexy stuff. And we have to be careful of because for the most part, I'm trying to be ooh, that's a song. We'll talk about that song in a little bit, but we have to be careful of the first thing first. So yeah, this is the word we're gonna do, and there's all the links you want right there. So on the visual end, people are gonna get all the links they need. They get all the stuff they want. me and Billy Carson. I'm really happy to have him here. Oh my God, he's been doing great for me, and for him, he's doing great. Oh my God, we're all doing great, and just great is great is great. Ah. So I am so happy you guys hung in there. You're still with me now. I appreciate it. You're one of the rare ones. If you're rare, if you're still with me now. So let's keep it going. But yeah, appreciate it. I got some stuff. I'm gonna do a Jackson Hinkle review. So we're gonna start doing Jackson Hinkle reviews here. Twitch was a beautiful place until I just didn't understand how to use it. So I was like, fuck it. You know what? I forgot the password. Hey, we'll do it all here. We'll do it all right here. We're gonna do Jackson Hinkle reviews. That's coming to you soon. It's gonna be fun stuff. It's totally on point with where I feel that I'm most confident. I would have the most responses back, and for the most part, he needs a black dude to just kind of keep him. He needs a black version of Ian, and I think I could be the black version of Ian from Timcast. I could be the black version of Ian for Jackson Hinkle. Maybe he'll move to Texas. He might want to, depending on how much he's making. I mean, dude, if you're making the taxes out there, whew, good Lord, a lot of money. So yeah, we'll have some fun. We'll do some cool stuff. This has been Forbidden Knowledge Part 3. Annunaki on Earth. We definitely have some fun, definitely have some laughs. I love you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you and for being part of the new Wrinkle On The Brain family. From me to you, love, vibes of appreciation, vibes of do better, vibes of things will work out. You know what I'm saying? Like vibes of I didn't think what I'm doing would work out, and it's working out. Like feel that vibe, baby. Like homie say, hold up, let me bring him up. Oh, man, look, breathing that good ass prana, baby. So you bring it in. Hey, we're bringing it. Let's breathe it in. Hey, we're gonna breathe out. That's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna exit the podcast. We're gonna breathe out, motherfuckers. So if y'all still with me, just like Ralph Smart, if you've really been following me, you've been following Ralph Smart. So Ralph Smart does this. You gotta breathe that good ass prana, baby. And in, out. Right? One more time. In, out. I figured the mouth is nice. If your nose is the clear, the go, but I got the congestion and the jello pudding and I got the congestion with the little diarrhea. I'm sorry. That's a really terrible Bill Cosby joke, but I would assume he'd poop on himself if he had diarrhea. I just thought that was hilarious. Anyway, breathe in. And you know what? It just kind of like Ari Shafir does. We'll do stretching one day, put the arms out, the arms straight out, straight out, you got space. Bring it in, and one more breathe in that good ass prana, baby. This side, and then you breathe in, and we breathe it out. But you gotta breathe this side, Yeah, right. So we do the breathe in that good ass prana, baby. Okay, so yes, you gotta feel good, you gotta feel exercise, go do something, jazzercise, stretch, exercise, go outside, go walk, go take a dog out. I don't know, man. Go be out in nature. Appreciate you. I just go fishing as much as I can. You try and do the same. I appreciate it. And I did this to say thank you. Thank you for all you guys who followed this since the beginning. Wrinkle On The Brain is around 3 years old now. I covered this before Epstein was arrested. Okay, before Ghislaine was a thing. Before many stories dropped. I've been ahead of everything. But I'm okay now, and I think the system is gonna have to work itself out. I think however votes work has to vote itself out. I really don't want to be political again. I don't choose to do that, but it is something that is going to be a focal point. So as that focal point comes near to this time of year, I'm gonna still do some things in February to where it's not going to be political. So do be aware. I will give you ample warning. If I do a political thing, I will tell you. Okay, I will let you know up front. But that's only if you've listened this far in, and that's only if you continue to listen. So check it out. I mean, so far we've been doing great. I really appreciate it. Go on and share this out. I'm available on all the mediums, man. I don't know. I was bummed on all of them, but I'm available now on all of them. So Instagram, Facebook, um, Twitter, Twitch. I got a Gab account. We got the minds.com account. I got the Unite the 99 account. Everything with Billy Carson is over on forbiddenknowledge.com. I'm sorry, forbiddenknowledge.tv. You can find Dame Dash at Fox Soul. That's going to be down in the description section. I'll give you all the links to those down below. And just in case you don't need those, for all those who are going to be watching the visual portion, I'll actually give you the links right here because I got it on my sticky notes. Yeah, sticky notes. So got my sticky notes here. You guys may have taken a picture of that already, so appreciate y'all. Thank you. Again, I'm out, and yeah, until the next little vibe on minds, I'm out. But be careful, be careful. Don't become a meme. But yes, till the next one, guys. Appreciate it.